So can you elaborate a little bit more on the love letters part that we talked about in the beginning of the conversation?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like at the very beginning, like when I was writing and leaving these letters around New York City, I don't even know if I would go back now and like call them like, I guess I'd still call them love letters, though I feel like a lot of it was like I needed to find a way to get these feelings out of me and be as honest as I could be. And I also knew that they were like anonymous. So it didn't matter what I said because it's like New York City, it's a massive city. It's like no one's going to find me. And so I always get people that ask me, like, oh, you signed the letters, right? So people could find you. And I was like, no, like I started doing that maybe halfway through because everybody told me I should, but I really didn't have any desire to be found, like I just wanted somebody to know, like, hey, like if you're going through something hard or if you're kind of feeling like you moved here and you thought it was going to be different, like I just want you to know that like you're not alone in that.
Sure.
Because I think like my dream in life was to move to New York City. That was it. Like that was like my whole entire existence apart from wanting to write books when I was younger.
Hmm.
And then I moved to this city and I'm like, like it's a very magical city, I will say that, but like it felt very lonely and I felt very
Sure.
disconnected, and it was a very weird feeling to wrestle with, where like you could be so surrounded by people and feel so alone.
Yeah.
And so the letters made me feel closer to like, I don't know, closer to my roots, to my mom, to my friends. I was the girl that was like known to write letters to all of her friends when I was in college, and they thought that that was really like quirky. And letter writing has just always been a part of me and an extension of me, and it's still something that I do now. I still write letters to my husband. I write letters to my readers. I write letters to my daughter because I think, well, this is what they're going to have of me and hold of
Yeah,
me if I'm not
absolutely.
here anymore. And I think so often we're living so much on our phones that we're like missing that tangibility element. That's why I love letters.
Yeah. Absolutely. And could you like elaborate in the sense of like what one of the letters might have said?
Yeah, so most of the letters, I was always kind of sharing stories of like where I was at or what I was going through or what I was encountering. But it always brought it back around to the individual who may have picked up the
Mm.
letter, to encourage them and remind them to keep going, to keep showing up. Like basically all the words I needed for myself that I couldn't give myself at that time, I was giving to somebody else. And so that shifted from day to day based on whatever I was thinking or feeling or encountering.
It's so interesting because I feel like it so relates to songwriting. Being a
Yeah,
musician, it's real. Like so often, artists will write songs. Especially depending on the genre, but like will write songs that they want to hear themselves, kind of thing.
totally. Yeah.
Like you're gonna make it through, kind of thing, or like don't stop believing, or any of them. Like very often, at least in my own writing, experiences, it's like sometimes I need what would I need to hear at the moment, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a very very similar concept.
Totally. Because I mean, like, I help people on a daily basis, like write letters or
Yeah,
figure out what to write in letters. Because even for the organization today, like, people get nominated and then we blast them with a bunch of letters. And people are always like,
that's
well,
cool.
what do you write in a letter to somebody you don't know? And one of my first tips is always like, what do you need to hear today?
Yeah.
What do you need to be reminded of? And I do the same thing through like my writing online, through my social media. Like if ever I feel stuck, I'm like, okay, what are the words that I need to know and remember today? Because chances are I am not the only one.
Yeah.